Howdy folks, welcome back to the replay analysis series. Sorry it's been so long since we've done one of these, but we're going to run through 14 examples here of a replay, having a look at Vic, Sparkle, and Bogo. So let's hop right to it. Alright, this is the opening kickoff here. One thing that I noticed here, and this is a real easy thing to just slightly speed up the kickoffs. Sparkle, when you're going back here for this this corner boost, if you, instead of flipping backwards, if you do a half flip, you're going to make it a much quicker and easier transition for yourself. By flipping, you have this stop right on the boost here that kills all your momentum. But if you half flip, you're going to have full momentum to either turn back towards the net or to keep going forward on the play here. Not a big thing. I think you hop in free play and learn that in like 5 minutes. Anyways, I got an AFK guy. Vic's going in, misses the shot. Unfortunately, Bogo kind of clips that one here, and it floats back to the back here. So Sparkle's going to go pick this thing up. Vic, when you're floating out of the net here, what we kind of want to do is boost start them as much as we can. Their corner's already missing, but these little mini pads are their lifeblood. So if you can grab a couple of those on your way out, and then float back here to right behind Sparkle to hold the line, then we'll be kind of good to go here. Sparkle, you're coming in at this ball. Bogo's coming over here to the side. Vic's floating back. At this point, since Sparkle's picking this ball up, Bogo needs to be looking to move back towards the center. If Sparkle gets this ball around, then Bogo needs to be ready here in the center. If Sparkle loses the ball, however, then he can go back here to the back of the net here. Vic, if you hold the line here, there's plenty of boost in these mini pads that you can collect on your way back. We don't want to go back all the way to this very back corner boost because we're leaving this huge gap here. And if Sparkle gets this ball, or even if if this guy slightly blocks it, then you need to be on this ball. Instead, you're back here in the corner, and then we're kind of hosed as far as keeping the play alive. Sparkle, right after you miss this ball, you'll notice that Vic's way back here in the back, and so am I. Both of us should have turned and supported you here, but we didn't. So when you miss this ball, what we want to do is we want to collect along this boost pad lane and then go get back post. So you got some time to get back, but we want to be recharging ourselves as we're flipping back to the back. You do a good job here on the first two, but then you skip all the rest. If you're in a good boost situation, it's not a big deal, but if you pick these up along the way, that's kind of the path you want to follow. So just work on your pathing there. Anytime that you're low on boost, you'll have a lot more to work with. Right. Now, when you're coming into the back post here, Sparkle, we really want to hold this back post line. We don't want to float into the center because, as you can see here, when you pull up to the front post here, there's nobody covering the back of this net. So if they take a shot, or they have, really this shower time guy should be back a little more far post to take a shot here. But oftentimes they'll have somebody here on this back post, and if you're up here on the front, you're not going to be able to save anything on the back. So if you're the third man back, always hold the back post until somebody comes in behind you to take over that back post lane. But this back post area is kind of the most important spot to be able to save balls, so we always want somebody there when we're on the defensive side. All right. Alright, next example. Alright, here, Vic just came down, challenged this ball, and this is going back. But Bogo's up here, about to either clear this ball or put it in the corner or whatever. But Vic, when you're coming down, instead of heading straight back to the back post here, we've already got Sparkle back here to be the next man up. This will be your next move. However, float a little up here into this area, almost in between the mid boost and the back boost, because oftentimes when we're clearing balls, we're looking for a pass right there in that area, and it helps to get the ball around the back guy. So this back guy's out here waiting, but if I clear it, if I pass it up here, I'm usually looking for somebody to be hanging out in this area. If the ball doesn't come to you, then you're immediately going back to the back post, right? But if the ball comes to you, then you can take a shot and a lot of times get a free goal around this back post guy, right? So just be looking for that pass if you miss the ball in the front. All right, again, Sparkle holding back, not the front post here when you're the third man. All right, and then me, as I'm coming out here, I got collected a demo, grabbed this boost. The next spot here is the ball clearly wasn't coming, so we really need to be traveling to the back post. Don't chase this guy into the front corner because now we've got too many guys all up in this corner. So just head to the back post there, Bogo, instead of floating into the front. Alright, and here, this is a big no-no. When you're the third man, we don't want to rotate back in on the ball because this is Vic's ball. So Vic's coming out to grab this, and now we have a double commit, and nobody's protecting the net. So if something goes wrong here, now the net's wide open and we'll wind up getting scored on. Now that I've cut this ball off, Vic, since I did cut you off and nothing bad happened and we're floating up here, now your move is to float in here to the center. Normally you'd be the one carrying it up, and then Sparkle would be the one in the center, and Bogo should generally be here in the back if we broke out correctly. But since with the mishap there, Bogo's got the ball, so you need to be the center guy, and then Sparkle, you rotate back here to the back. Since we really want to be more Vic far post here, at this front post lane, it's going to make this shot a lot harder. So if you recognize somebody's taking that ball up the corner, we really want to be either center or even more shaded towards the back, just like on the back post. It just gives you a lot more options and a lot more room. Sparkle or whoever is back here in the back can cover this area that you're already covering, and take a shot from there. So we're not really worried about that area. We want to have somebody who's able to shoot on the back, right? Alright, so as you miss that ball, the next thing to do, Bogo's rotating out, Sparkle's rotating in. Your job is to hold this center. So really, as the center man, you're rotating in and collecting these mini pads, and you want to stay collecting these mini pads and in this area for as long as possible. You're your own rotation here. You're protecting when the back guy's moving up, you're protecting by moving back. And if that guy's successful, you've got a quick, easy turn into the center for a shot, right? So that center man is kind of going back and forth as the front guy over here in this corner is rotating back and forth with this guy over here on the side. And if you keep that kind of rotation where these two guys are swapping and this guy is holding center back and forth, then you should be pretty well protected against anything coming back towards your net. If you get boost starved, that's when a transition can happen, or if this guy who's coming in on the ball gets stuck up here in the front post, you can always rotate back to the back place and allow this guy who got stuck up here to then take over the center position. So there's a little bit of flexibility to it, but always be looking to stay center as much as you can instead of rotating all the way out like you do here. Alright, number 3. Alright, here I just demoed somebody coming out here. Vic's coming in at the ball, Sparkle's in the center. Vic misses that ball, Bogo's coming back up for this ball. Sparkle right here, we don't ever want to go from the center into the side. We've got two guys that'll be rotating back and forth between each other that should have this area. Instead, we want you to turn and shadow when Vic misses, and allow Bogo to challenge this ball. If Bogo is successful and moves back into the play, you can either take over the back area or you can turn back into the center for a shot. you'll have to kind of watch what Vic does there after he misses. Really, after Vic misses, he should rotate out and allow you to shadow and then rotate back into the center. Is the ideal way. All right. All right. Now that that's happened, I notice that Vic's going in. So instead of me moving into the center area here, we recognize that, which is good, and we hang out back here at the back. At this point, Sparkle, since you're kind of out of the play here at the moment, this is a great time to collect boosts. You can either collect this big one right in front of you and turn back, just to boost starve them. So you can come in, grab this one, and then grab minis on the way back. Or you can just immediately turn back and grab this this big mid boost here to recharge yourself. Because I'm kind of holding the center here, and Vic's going in to the corner after the shot. Alright, so right here, Sparkle, since you did make this turn, Bogo's coming in at this one because he was floating back here just waiting to see kind of what happened. So he's challenging this ball. So what we need you to do is to protect against somebody getting the ball over Bogo's head. So Bogo's coming in, that means you're coming out. And really, we don't want you turning back into the center here, just because you've already got two people in front of you. We really want you back here at this mid boost kind of area, somewhere floating back here in the back. Because as you can see, when you turn there, Vic's already in here. He didn't realize you turned, and now we've got a double commit. And I wasn't very successful, and I'm in the net here trying to get a bump. So now we've got three guys here. Nobody's protecting the back. Alright, example 4. Alright, here, Sparkle, when you're coming back, try to hit the mini pads and either you can grab this one or this middle lane on your way out and then rotate around the back here, or you can go straight ahead, grab this guy, and then kind of weave your way in. But either way, focus on collecting those mini pads. I noticed by watching this game that you're very focused on big boosts and not very much on little, and I think you'll stay more charged as far as boost goes and be able to stay in the play more if you're collecting more mini pads. The mini boost pathing is a big key to being fast, especially as we're transitioning out of Diamond into the higher ranks of Champ, right? Alright, and right here, Bogo's shadowing this ball, covering front post and the back wall. Vic, as you're coming back here, you don't want to follow Bogo where he's going into this corner. Your next move, since Bogo's the shadow guy and the front post guy, and Sparkle's coming in here on the back, you're the third man. So at this point, you need to go collect mini pads and work your way to the back post. Somehow, whether that's on the path shown or there's some other paths that you can take as well, like right through here, if you'd rather. But whatever path makes the most sense as you're driving down the field. But what we don't want to do is put two guys into this front post, as so. Right. All right. So Sparkle collects this ball. Vic's gonna get on the wall. All right. So this is kind of busy, but right here, as Sparkle's on this ball, Vic, if you're going to stay in this front post area, that's fine to protect the backboard here. But what you want to do is you want to, basically, you're in a shadow position. If you're on the front post, you are a shadowing guy. So you want to be working your way up the wall here a little bit. And you're protecting everything kind of in this yellow area. Now what you don't want to do is mess with the back post guy and the save that he's trying to make. And I see this a lot with people trying to guard the front post, and we take advantage of this a lot when we're on offense. But what we want to do is we want to protect and carry all balls that we can over the top of the net or out away from the net and into the other corner. What we don't want to do is block anybody coming out of the net, so we want to completely avoid all balls that are being shot on the net if we're this front post guy. If it's being shot, then the back post guy should have that ball, right? But instead, we come out here and we create a double commit. And another thing here is along this path, for Sparkle's piece of this, I'm just going to back it up here. Sparkle, after you miss this ball, we want to be grabbing mini pads and immediately making our way back here to the back post. You can also kind of float here, like I was talking about a little bit here with Vic earlier in this video. But if somebody clears this ball, they're going to be looking for a pass, and that in this case is you. But if you float here in this area, and it's just like a second to 2 seconds that you want to float here, if you see that somebody's going to be able to clear the ball to you, you want to be there for the pass. But if you see that the ball's not going to come your direction, that's when you're booking your way to the back post. Now you'll notice what you do here is you float all the way across the field. And if you had gone here, you'd already almost be back and ready, and we get a double commit here, and then you're ready to protect against another shot coming in. But if you float all the way over here to this mid boost, that's taking a ton of time before you can get back, which can lead to goals and other things like that. So concentrate on your mini pads, avoid the big boost pads, and I think you're going to see just a huge increase in your gameplay. Right, and then this play just kind of keeps going. We probably could have cut this off a little bit here. All right, next example, number 5. All right, here on this play, Vic's on the front again. Again, you're in a shadow position. We kind of want to avoid going in front of the net. Your job is to protect the backboard, everything above, carry all balls over that you can. But we don't want to block anybody on the front or back posts here in this shadow position. So this is a tough position to play. It is effective and necessary, especially for protecting against double taps and things like that. But we don't want to get too carried away with blocking our normal rotation when you're in that position. Notice you come down here, Sparkle's going out. I'm also going out with the play. At this point, when you miss this ball, you're third man. And honestly, since you were on the wall, the best move for you to get to the back and third position is to go over the net and float over here to the back. You can also hang out here on the front if you want to for a little bit as this play is breaking out if you think there is immediate danger. But if you have the capability to get to the back post without running through the middle of the play here, that's the play we want to make. Right, instead you cut Bogo off, he notices and floats back. So we're very susceptible right now to a shot. So if somebody were shooting right here, we'd be in trouble. But you take over this play here. Sparkle at this point, when Vic goes for this ball and Bogo floats back, we would hope that you can recognize that you are now going to take over the second man position. Really, that normally would be you with this ball and Bogo floating down the center, and Vic going over to the back post and then breaking out to the back here. But since we did have Vic come out of this ball, we want you to follow one of these paths and get more towards the center, and you are now the center guy. Since we did float this direction, instead of following this play and continuing to be on the back of Vic, if you do decide to stay on this back wall or don't think you can get out center, Bogo's going to recognize that and then take over your place here. Since that's happening, let Vic continue after this ball, and you hold this back post area or this back line, and you be the third man here. Right. All right, example 6. Okay. So on this one, we've got a couple different things here. Vic has basically moved this ball over here to the side. Bogo's keeping the ball in here, and Sparkle's floating behind him. So Bogo's gonna come and keep this ball in play. At this point, Vic, what I think we should probably be doing is, instead of floating all the way out on this play, I'd really like to see you grab a couple mini pads and turn back around and hold that center position. This is kind of the same thing that we were talking about earlier, where you're floating all the way out on a lot of these plays instead of holding center, and then when we wind up keeping the ball in, we don't have anybody here to take a shot. Right, Sparkle, here on your position, you're gonna grab a couple of these mini pads and then hold this back line. We don't want to go for this back boost. In fact, we generally never ever want to go for this back boost. It's very tempting, but I think you're going to have enough boost with these two pads here. That's 24, or if you need a couple more, come grab two more, and then you're basically at a half a tank, right? And half a tank is plenty to hold this line and keep the pressure on these guys, because 3 is all about pressure. And if we travel all the way back here, there's a big threat gap, and then we're back on defense, right? So avoid this back boost at all cost. And in this case, you'll notice what happens. I'm all alone. I kind of win the ball here. Sparkle, if you were holding the line, you could then knock this in to the center for Vic. And Vic would obviously have to stay here as well, but instead we all float back here to the back. Vic's picking up the very back boost instead of being the center man, and Sparkle, you're back here in the net instead of holding the line, where we could keep the pressure on these guys. So you'll notice that they break out here, and then now we're on defense. Right. Well, looks like they messed up, but typically they'd move it up the field there. Alright, number 7. Alright, here on this play, it looks like Vic's in the corner here applying pressure, Bogo's holding the back line, and Sparkle is our mid guy. Honestly, in this position, just looking at it, Sparkle, if you want to float a little more on this far post, remember that Bogo is back here and can cover any balls here on the immediate front. So what we really need is for you to have as much space as possible to take a good shot. So to set yourself up for the best success, you want to be floating more towards this far post rather than shading towards the front here. Right. All right, so this ball comes in, Sparkle takes a shot, and we don't get it. And at this point, Bogo sees an opportunity and moves in, but at this point, he's got to realize that now this guy's going to get the ball. We're in a bad position here. We need to abort and turn back and shadow this ball backwards and allow Vic to get behind for the extra protection. But instead, we dive in, we lose the ball, and now it's off to the races, right? So they wind up scoring there because we make a mistake. All right. Another kickoff here. All right, this one going to the side. Vic, this is your ball. I see a little hesitation here, but go ahead and charge in strong at that ball. Sparkle's going over here to the mid boost, which is great, to hold the back line, and then Bogo's going to be coming up here as well. Sparkle, since you're over here on the side, go ahead and hold this back area. This is now your zone. And Bogo, you're coming in here towards the center. So you're coming in too shallow, just like Sparkle was earlier. We want to move out here towards the side. We've got 2 guys over here on the side. And then notice here, we get Sparkle and Bogo coming for this ball. This is Sparkle's ball. So Vic's not gotten the ball. Sparkle's coming in. Bogo should be over here on the back side. But instead, Bogo comes over here and collects a demo for some reason. And then that leaves Sparkle to turn back, which is the smart play there since you saw somebody sideswipe you. But really, this is a mistake on Bogo's part. Bogo's got to stay here on the back post. Next example, number 9. Alright, so Sparkle's up here on the front, Vic's back here, he's just coming into the screen, Bogo's got the center. So good positioning here, you're floating over here on the side, you've got a nice big area to work with. Vic's got this area to work with. If a shot's in there and he thinks he can get it, Sparkle, you're on the front and putting the ball around. All great so far. So moving around here. Alright, so this is something that we don't want to do. So you've put this ball around. So at this point you have two options. You have the Bogo destruction option, or you have the float back Vic option. I personally like the destroy option here because you're going to create a lot of goals and it's a rotation demo. So this is the perfect opportunity to collect either a demo. I like to target the back post guy. If the ball gets by these front post guys, the back post guy is the most likely guy to make any saves. It also gives you a ton of time to work with an empty net. So at this point, Sparkle, after you put this ball around, regardless of if it's a good ball, go in for the demo. If it's a bad ball, rotate back out to the back. All right. And when you're coming through here, collect this demo here, target the back post guy, and then wherever you collect them, then I like to take this mini boost pad lane out where I can. And the reason I don't go for that back boost is you've already wasted a ton of time coming in here for the demo, and I've just collected through experience that we just don't have time to go get that other back boost over there. So anyways, collect the demo, rotate out, get back here to the back. Now, one thing that we don't want to do is we generally don't want to be taking shots coming out of the corner here, or at least not in threes. If you're in twos, it's a whole different thing. In twos, you would take that shot because your other guy is likely floating back here towards the back, so you can take that shot. But in threes, this is a difference between twos and threes. Threes, we don't want to take this shot. Threes, we want to be looking demo or rotate. Twos, we take the shot. Okay. Because you notice here that I'm also going for the shot because I'm already here and Vic's already protecting our back. So this is my shot, so just avoid that. Alright, sample 10. Alright, this one here looks like Sparkle's going for a shot here. Vic was looks like for a pinch here. Didn't get it. So this ball's going in the corner. Vic falls down over there. Bogo's floating back here on the back, being the protection in the back. At this point, Sparkle's coming around the corner here. Sparkle, after you touch this ball into the corner, and as you're rotating out, we don't ever want to turn back on the ball, which is what's about to happen here. Always go ahead and rotate out in threes. In twos, this is another twos versus threes thing. In twos, a lot of times your other guy is going to be floating here towards the center or in the back, and it's okay to turn around on this ball. But in threes, for a fast rotation, you need to move out, and this back guy is going to be coming in at this ball. Instead, back guy comes in for the ball, you've turned for it, and now we've got a double commit here in the corner. Vic, as you floated around here, you're now heading towards this corner as well. We really need you to be floating, I like that you came back for the protection here at the back. At this moment in time, you need to be floating basically here around the center line. You're protecting to where you can either move in forward for a shot, or if things go terribly wrong here, then you can abort and go back towards the net. But we definitely don't want a third person over here in this corner, which you realize eventually, but now we're too far over here on the side. So just a little quicker recognition of that, and I think we'll be good here. All right, and this one winds up ending in a goal, even with all those mistakes. Anyways, so. All right, example 11. All right, so this is a breakout here. So Sparkle's going out towards the ball, and Vic's coming out of the net as well. We've just cleared this ball. This ball is Sparkle's. He's coming out at this ball. Vic, you were coming off the back post, and I see you floating over here towards behind, or right behind Sparkle. So while that's good for picking the ball up if he doesn't get it, it doesn't protect us all in the back of the net, and it also doesn't help Sparkle with a pass when he needs it. So really what we want you to do is when you're breaking out, we want you to either break out towards the center or collect this boost pad lane if you need some mini pads. But your goal here is to give Sparkle a pass, especially in 3 where Bogo's going to come back here, protect the back, and then protect the backside. If you break out towards the center, you can easily be second man. You're going to make this whole breakout process much faster. Because if you go over here to the side, you leave your net open, you don't give Sparkle a pass to work with, and not only that, you make Bogo's rotation much longer. Really, Bogo can come back here and grab this back area, but instead, since you float over there, he's now got to come all the way down the center, which is going to take a lot of boost and a lot of catch-up time, because right now he's still floating back. Alright, so I see that. I take over the center. You float in here, and now we've got a double commit. So also floating there on the back, this will happen a lot because it'll look like Sparkle's not in the play or whatever, and then now you're double committing with him. But you wind up taking over this ball. At this point, Sparkle, when Vic takes over the ball, your job is now to rotate out. So, is what it is when the ball gets taken over. But we always need somebody at the back. It's the most important thing. So instead of floating here with the ball, with the play, go ahead and rotate out if somebody steals the ball from you. So that's pretty much a general rule. If somebody steals the ball from you, rotate out. Right? So instead, you float all the way across the field. You do go steal their boost, which normally is fine, but since we expected you to rotate out, there's now nobody back here at the back. And when this ball gets cleared, now we've got everybody racing towards the ball, and when we have multiple racers coming towards the ball, it often winds up in a double commit, which is exactly what happens here because nobody's sure if the other person has enough boost to get the ball, therefore both people go after it. Now we got another problem back here in the back, right? So all that could have been prevented by either Vic not coming up in this play or Sparkle rotating out when Vic does take over the play, right? Alright, example 12. Okay, so Vic misses this ball here. Sparkle's floating out towards the center, and Bogo's collecting floating in here towards the third man. After Vic misses this ball, this is now Bogo's ball. He's going after it. Sparkle's still floating here in the center, and at this point, Vic, your job, rotate out. After we miss a ball or after we've passed a ball, and it's now somebody else's turn, we need to immediately get back towards the back here. If you have a chance to get this little front boost, it's not a terrible idea. If it's wide open before you rotate out, and I'm totally cool with boost starving them a little bit there before the rotation. But the main goal here is to protect on the defensive side. Instead, we float in, and you do get a really nice touch here into the center, which is nice, but you also notice that we've got nobody back. So highly aggressive play. I prefer a rotate out, but winds up being good, and unfortunately posted it. Alright, 13. Alright, Sparkle again, back post, kind of a theme here for you. Hold the back post instead of the front. Alright, and at this point, Vic's clearing the ball, so what we would need you to do is go ahead and break out here. So Bogo's floating back here towards the back. He's going to rotate in behind you and be that third man. But as soon as this ball is coming out and Vic's clearing this ball, he's going to need your help. So go ahead and immediately start going out to the center. Don't worry about the net. your third man will rotate in behind you, and you'll be good to go. And then by not rotating out, what happens is I come out at this ball, don't realize or forget you're over there or whatever, or think you're going over here for boost or something. But you end up coming back into the play, and I'm also coming out of this play, and we wind up with a double commit. So if you go out earlier on that breakout there, as soon as you see that ball leaving, we'll prevent that double commit. Right, and finally, last play. This is just a kickoff play here on the final kind of play of the game here. And right here, so when we have this configuration, whoever's here in these two positions, this is the boost guy. Whether you're here or whether you're here, you're floating out to the boost every time. This guy back here is going to have a nice little path up here through the center to be this trailer. It takes him longer to get to that boost, and he's also going to have a little more room to work with when coming up towards this ball. So it just makes for a nicer, quicker play if whoever's in this position floats out towards these boosts, and whoever's in the back is the trailer. Right? But that's pretty much the end of that one. Vic gets a little confused there by not being the trailer, and we wind up getting scored on.